We've got new details on the Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster. Plus, I think most people weren't aware of some details that were dropped right after its announcement. There's also quite a few unanswered questions still that I want to talk about, but first, let's go over everything we know. The remaster is coming to both PlayStation 5 and PC. No delay for PC players. It's coming to both platforms at the same time. And if you already own the game, there's a very good chance you can upgrade to the remastered version for just $10. If you purchased a digital copy through the PlayStation Store, Steam, or the Epic Games Store, then you're definitely eligible for the upgrade. And both the original PS4 version and the Complete Edition will work. You're also eligible if you have a physical disc version of the game. You just have to actually put the disc into a PS5 console, not a PS4, and you'll be able to buy the upgrade. And then you do have to put the disc in every time you want to play the remaster. No big deal. Now, if you downloaded Zero Dawn for free during the PlayStation Play at Home initiative during the pandemic, you're actually also eligible for this upgrade. So a lot of people can get the remaster for just $10, which I think is a really good deal for what you're getting. We'll get into why that is in a minute, but it's actually an even better deal if you never happen to buy the Frozen Wilds DLC, because that's going to come included with the remaster. So if you got the original PS4 version and you buy this remaster, you're not only going to get all the graphical updates, but you're also going to get the Frozen Wilds DLC for free, which is definitely some of the best content in the game. So then who's not eligible for this $10 upgrade? Well, if you bought the game through GOG, unfortunately, it looks like there won't be an upgrade path available to you. Also, if you played Zero Dawn through PlayStation Plus, then you don't actually own a copy of the game, so you won't be able to upgrade for $10 either. In those cases, or if you're buying the game for the very first time, it'll be $50. Yes, the game's been selling for $10 to $20 for many years at this point, and Sony did bump up the price to $40 after this remaster announcement. So you can't really get around the $50 price if you're buying a new copy. But if you're brand new to the game, $50 is honestly a really good price for what you're getting here. Plus, if you want a physical version of the remaster, they are actually selling a physical version, which I was surprised by. And if you buy a digital copy, it sounds like you're actually going to get two games. You'll get a copy of the original version of the Complete Edition, and then also a copy of the remaster. So I think they're actually going to show up as separate games, which means you should be able to go back and play the original version if you want to. Now, the big upgrade you're getting with this remaster is a complete visual overhaul to bring it up to the level of Forbidden West, and actually in some ways surpass it. Aloy's character model and all the others in Forbidden West have been brought over, and any who weren't in the Forbidden West, like Aurea in the Frozen Wilds, have been updated. So they're all way more detailed and lifelike now. But what I think you'll notice much more are the environmental updates. Zero Dawn by no means looked bad. In fact, for a game going on 8 years old, it still looked fantastic. But now, the entire map has been updated with Forbidden West level environments and structures, which I think is going to make playing Zero Dawn stunning. The developers at Nixies, who handled the bulk of the remaster under Guerrilla's direction, explained that they updated hundreds of plants, bushes, flowers, and trees, and actually went back to the original Zero Dawn concept art to make sure updates were going to make the game look even closer to the original vision. For example, in the Jewel, which is the jungle south of Meridian, they've significantly increased the vegetation density and quality to make it more realistic. And speaking of Meridian, it's getting a significant upgrade as well. All the buildings have been retextured at higher resolution, and their models have been updated with more detail. And the ground surfaces in both Meridian and Day Tower have actually been completely rebuilt from scratch to achieve the level of quality Nixies and Guerrilla wanted. Maybe the most noticeable change, though, is going to be the increased number of NPCs walking around Meridian. They were able to add lots more and increase their movement and variation so the settlement feels more alive. Back out in the wilds, you're going to notice things like the much higher quality sand and snow deformation brought over from Forbidden West. And in the sky, the clouds have been updated using the new Nubis cloud system from the Burning Shores. You might only be able to get up close to them if you climb to the top of a mountain, but I think one area where this is going to make a huge difference is the smoke coming out of Thunder's drum. The Nixies wizards said they paid special attention to this when updating it, and it's such an iconic set piece. I'm super excited to see how it looks now. And across the map, they've used the much more advanced Forbidden West lighting system to update all the light rendering for both gameplay and cinematics. I thought it was interesting that Jean-Bart van Beek, one of the studio directors at Guerrilla, mentioned on Twitter that they actually managed to make some improvements beyond Forbidden West with the lighting system. Apparently, the halo effect that was present in Forbidden West from the cinematic depth of field is now gone in the Zero Dawn Remaster. But the most welcome upgrade in the remaster for most people is definitely going to be the updated facial animations for cutscenes and interactions. The quality of facial animations was definitely the one thing that stuck out as a weaker point in the original game, but Guerrilla went ahead and recorded brand new motion capture data for about 300 conversations, and over 3,000 dialogue options covering all the main and side quests, and I assume a bunch of other side content as well. It was unclear at first if this meant the original actors came back to re-record their lines, which you would then assume means their voiceover audio would be updated as well. But in the most recent blog post, they explained that they actually had other actors do the performance for the motion capture data, and then Nixies created custom tools to help them apply that to the character models, making lots of tweaks to account for actors being different heights and things like that. But even though the voiceover audio hasn't been updated, which is totally fine by the way, I don't think anyone really felt that it needed to be, the audio mix has been overhauled. It's still not totally clear what exactly we're going to notice as the change here, but it sounds like the overall goal was to update all the game's audio using better technology and practices. So no new voiceover recordings for characters, but you might notice subtle differences in how conversations sound. But I think the audio updates will actually be more noticeable in combat sound effects and environmental sounds like birds walking through grass and snow, that kind of thing. I'll be interested to see if I notice a difference. I just hope they kept all the original sound effects. Don't get me wrong, I love Forbidden West, but there's just certain Zero Dawn sound effects that are super nostalgic for me. Of course, the game will now have full support for the PS5's DualSense controller haptics and adaptive triggers, and it's also ready to go for the PS5 Pro. I assume it'll have the same higher quality 60 FPS mode that's being introduced for Forbidden West. Many of the accessibility features from Forbidden West have also been brought over, like remappable controls and haptic cues. And on the PC version, the remaster will support DLSS 3 and AMD FSR 3.1, both with FrameGen, and it'll be getting ultra-wide support just like Forbidden West. So yes, you can just load up your old save and check out the remaster immediately without having to start over if you want to. That's super nice. They're also introducing the PlayStation overlay on PC so you can see and unlock all your PlayStation trophies, though the PSN connection still doesn't support cross-platform saves, which I would have loved to see. Just like God of War Ragnarok, they are requiring that you log in with your PlayStation Network account to play the remaster on PC. Yeah, I really wish Sony would back off on this. I personally don't think it's a very big deal, but it is really annoying for single-player games, especially if you live in a region without PSN support. One of the things we still don't know about the remaster are the recommended PC specs, but I think it's safe to assume they'll either be identical or very similar to Forbidden West. But there's actually a bunch of other unanswered questions. The DualSense support is confirmed, but does that also mean we'll be getting the gyro aiming option? I assume so, but it'd be nice to have confirmation. The one I want to know is, are we getting the turn off pickup animation setting? That would be a really nice quality of life feature, along with just more medicinal plants on the map in general. Will there be any improvements to inventory space, or maybe even the Forbidden West stash? I think that one's unlikely because it would probably require a bigger change on the back end, but it definitely would be nice. I just wouldn't expect it. Another one I'd like to see is the ability to edit the Hunter's Toolkit like in Forbidden West. I think that's unlikely too, but it probably would be easier to implement than the stash. I know people have some more lofty wishes too, like an overhauled skill tree, Forbidden West's climbing system, adding the new weapons from Forbidden West, and the shield wing. But I think changes that big are very unlikely, especially since the price is already only $10 to upgrade. But who knows? We'll find out soon. The Zero Dawn Remaster launches on October 31st, and pre-orders are live right now. When I have my first video on it ready to go, I'll throw it up right here. And if you want to hang out with an awesome Horizon community, I'd love to have you join my Discord server. The link is in all my video descriptions. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.